Hey, it's John. Welcome to the third video for the Finish calendar. This is my chance to give you a couple of tips about how I use the calendar and how I hope you can get the most out of it. So hopefully these are helpful and give you a chance to go, okay, I hadn't thought of that. I'm going to try that. Or maybe I'll tweak my approach to the calendar. We've had it for a few months, so you're working on it. It's hung up somewhere. Maybe it's on a piece of dry erase board and you're carrying it around. I love to do that because then I can bring it to other rooms of the house, or I'll even bring it to a meeting. I have no problem showing up to a meeting with that thing like a paddleboard. Like, I don't care if it's ridiculous looking. My whole thing is it's not weird if it works. Like, if it works, then do it. It's not weird if it works. So for me, having a huge calendar, being able to see everything all at once, I'll bring it to the meeting. I'm willing to look weird and carry this gigantic paddleboard around. That's how I do. So remember, the first video, if you haven't seen it, you should go do that right now, and I'm pointing, it's over there. In my head, it's right over there. It's about color coding things. How can you color code your calendar to make sure that you can get a quick look at what is exactly going on? The second video was about putting 1 to 3 key things on the calendar a week or two at a time. So for me, the example I gave you was writing and running. I need to write on a certain day. I'm going to put a W on the calendar. It's very simple. I'm going to put an R for running, and I'm going to plan it out a week or two in advance. Not a year in advance, because that's ridiculous. Somebody told me about a 10-year planner that somebody's selling. A 10-year planner. I thought, that is adorable. You think that's going to happen? Like, you're going to plan 10 years? That is, it's hilarious. So today, I want to talk about this. You might recognize this. This is what's known as a pencil. It's pretty special. It's got an eraser. It also has lead. And I want to encourage you to do some planning with your pencil. I think there's a temptation to treat your calendar like it needs to be perfect or it needs to be pristine and you can only put certain things up there. And I think the pencil helps eliminate that pressure. Now, the argument or the question should be, what about all of us who own a dry erase calendar? I think that's a great question. For you, here's the challenge. I would be really interested to see what would happen if you said, okay, when it's an initial idea, like it's not a finalized idea, when it's an initial idea, I'm going to write in red dry erase. And then when it turns serious, when I actually decide to do it, when it becomes permanent in my mind that this is going to happen, I'm going to use black. So I start with red and I transition to black, because you need a process. That's what's fun about the pencil, is the pencil gives you some freedom. It helps you say, okay, it's not going to be perfect. That's one of the things I think we need to talk about a lot when it comes to our plans. They're going to change. They are. Whether or not you have the paper version or the dry erase version, your plans are going to change. And if you're not careful, you'll get locked into this mode of perfectionism. I've written a lot about that the last couple of years. The book Finish was a lot about perfectionism. And I wanted to show you an example of what perfectionism looks like. Do you see these 3 notebooks? 3 different notebooks. The first one is, let's see, it's a Moleskine. I used to love Moleskine. I've become more of a Electrum. I don't even know how to say it. It's a German brand that starts with L. But here's a notebook. I started it, I don't even know the year. I didn't even put that in there. So not very detailed, not very organized. I drew a map. So this looks like the map. Oh, that's the map that I used to create the book Start. So this is years and years old. And it ends right here. You see, these are all blank pages. All blank pages. It ends right here. Let's look at the second one. This one is actually The Hobbit. It's got The Hobbit. Like, there's a dragon on it. Like, oh, Lord of the Rings. Like, certainly I should be able to finish this one. How much did I write in this one? Right there. This is all blank. This is all I wrote. And I quit. And then last but not least, we go to the green one, the Electrum, the German one. Let's see if this one has a date. This one I started more recently. Well, not that recently. Is November 1st, 2017. How far did I get into this one? Surely by 2017, I've fixed a lot of these problems, right? I'm learning how to kind of complete notebooks. I used 2.5 pages. 2.5 pages. This is what's still in written on. This is what I actually used. Why? Because of perfectionism. Perfectionism will say the notebook has to be 100% complete and full of the same idea. And the minute you make a mistake, or the minute you scratch something out, or the minute you want to write a funny idea in a serious notebook, you have to start all over. And I have shelves full of notebooks like that. Those were just the 3 I grabbed the fastest. And I think there's a great temptation to do that with your calendar. To start, to be really excited, but then to make a mistake and give up, because perfectionism says it should be perfect. And the second it's not, you should quit. So here comes the pencil. Or if you're doing dry erase, here comes a color that you say, this color doesn't count. This is my experiment color. I write things up here in red, and then when I'm ready to say I committed to that, I'm all in, I change the color to black. And I think there's something really powerful about that, because it allows you to have fresh ideas, it allows you to have messy ideas, and it encourages you to touch the idea at least twice. The pencil invites a review. The pencil says, I dare you to change me into a pen. Like, here's the initial idea, change me into a pen. So that's my encouragement for you today. Number 1, write down a few ideas in pencil, or if you're dry erase, in a color that's your initial color. Number 2, a week from now, review it. A week from now, look at the pencil and say, okay, what's on my calendar? Was it actually something I want to do, or should I take it off? Number 3, make that decision regularly. Your decision is this: erase it, doesn't matter to me, which is fine. You had a goal, you had an idea, you put it up there, thought, I'm going to do this, and then you realize, I'm not. Erase it. Remember last week I talked about that, like that I have a collection of ideas, like good ideas I probably won't do. Maybe you have some of those and you need to put them in pencil. Or change it in the pen. Make a decision and say, I'm actually going to stick with it. This actually matters to me. I'm going forward with it. So that's my challenge to you today. I hope you're loving the calendar, and I'll see you back with another tip in a few weeks. Thanks, guys.